All right, folks, welcome to another President Trump press, or actually today's just a speech. The press briefing is later on today, but this is a speech to America's truckers. President Trump wants to let America's truckers know that the country is behind them and that they are very much appreciated, not only by America, but also by the White House, and that President Trump is on their side, making sure that they are, that everything is efficient, making sure that all of our stores are packed, and make sure that truckers keep on the road. So stay tuned live here at Golden State Times, because we're going to be switching over in just a few moments. There's also going to be a press briefing later on today, folks. So two President Trump speeches, almost back to back. And later on today, President Trump is going to be announcing his plan to reopen America. So this comes courtesy of the Daily Wire, and it says President Donald Trump is set to announce a draft plan to reopen America at his press conference later on today. He says that he is going to be detailing his ideas on a phone call with the governors of 50 states, of our 50 states, at around 3 p.m. Eastern. So he's going to be talking to governors at 3 p.m. Eastern, and he's going to be detailing to them what his plan is to reopen America. And then after that, at the press briefing, President Trump is going to let the American people know what is his plan to reopen America. So this lockdown that we have right now should only go on for maybe another week or so, but we're going to have to see. Depends on where you live. If you live in California, if you live in New York, it's probably going to take a lot longer. But if you live in other states, most likely this stay-at-home order is only going to be around for another maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks. But we're going to have to see what President Trump says about that later on today. Right now, President Trump is said to be talking about our nation's truckers and the respect that we have for our truckers. So stay tuned live here at Golden State Times. Don't forget to share the live stream. We're going to be sending the text messages of notification. So if you do receive a text message and you are already here, that's awesome. Thank you so much for being so awesome. And but if you did get the notification through text message and you're already here, if you can forward it to somebody else, that would be amazing. Also, if we're going to be sending out the email notifications, so if you get one of those and you're already here, thank you so much. If you can just forward it to somebody else, that would be amazing. If you are not part of the notifications through text message, all you have to do is send me a text with the word Trump Live to the number 555-888, and you'll be added to the notification list, so that way you don't have to rely on YouTube to get notified for these live streams. So if you're interested, text the word Trump Live, TRUMPLIVE, all together, and send it to the number 555-888, and you'll be added to the notification list through text message. All right, folks, so we will be switching over in just a few moments. Don't forget to share the live stream, click the thumbs up button, and say hello in the chat.
Much, please. Thank you. Big day today at the White House. All of American society is engaged and mobilized in the war against the invisible enemy. While we must remain vigilant, it is clear that our aggressive strategy is working, and very strongly working, I might add. New cases are declining throughout the New York metropolitan area. Cases in the Detroit and Denver metro areas are flat. Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Philadelphia, and St. Louis are showing great signs of progress, and new cases in Houston and New Orleans are declining. The battle continues, but the data suggests that nationwide we have passed the peak on new cases. Hopefully that will continue, and we will continue to make great progress. These encouraging developments have put us in a very strong position to finalize guidelines for states on reopening the country, which we'll be announcing. We're going to be talking about that tomorrow. We'll be having a news conference tomorrow sometime during the afternoon. We're going to be announcing guidelines, and we'll be talking about various states, and it's very exciting. It's been a horrible time to see such death and destruction, especially when you come out of what was the greatest economy in the history of the world. The greatest. There's never been an economy like what we had produced, but we'll produce it again. And I think we'll produce it again very fast. The medical and healthcare advances we've made are critical to our continued progress. We've rapidly developed the most expansive and accurate testing system anywhere in the world and have completed more than 3.3 million tests. To date, we have authorized 48 separate coronavirus tests, and the FDA is working with 300 companies and labs to widen our capacity still further. Today, Abbott Labs announced that it has developed an antibody test that will determine if someone has been previously infected with the coronavirus and potentially developed immunity. It's a great test. The company says these tests could be available to screen up to 20 million people in a matter of weeks. My administration is also distributing vast amounts of medical supplies to states across the country through Project Airbridge, which has been an amazing success. We have completed 44 flights, and these are flights of very, very large airplanes, massive cargo planes. 44 flights of critical supplies as of today, and an additional 56 flights scheduled in the near future. We have some very brilliant people working on this. It's logistically incredible what they've done. And we've also been working on this with the military. And these people have been, the genius of all of them together has been incredible to watch. In total, through all channels, the federal government has developed and delivered 39.4 million N95 masks, 431 million gloves, 57 million surgical masks, and 10.2 million gowns. We ordered 500 million masks, and they'll be coming shortly. And we've distributed 100 million masks. Following our use of the Defense Production Act, GM announced that its first ventilator has come off the assembly line in Kokomo, Indiana. Great place. They did it in 11 days from start to finish, a remarkable testament to the ingenuity of the American worker. GM will ship over 600 ventilators this month alone, with thousands more to come, and we have other companies doing something similar. And I think they said that there's a brief clip that we have of General Motors sent to us by General Motors, and I think they might be wanting to play that for your benefit, please. I know you got a little bit nervous when you saw there was a clip about ready to be played, but that was sent to us by General Motors, and we thought it would be a good one to play. It's amazing. It's, what they've done in a very, very short period of time. They're now making thousands of ventilators, and they're coming out of the factory very rapidly at a clip that nobody can even believe. But we have others also doing it, and these are very high-grade ventilators. So we're helping a lot of people, and at this moment, nobody needs them. We have to remember, during the surge, nobody's needed them for weeks now. But we'll have them for stockpiles, and very importantly, we're going to have them for other countries, because nobody's able to do things like we can do, and we're going to be able to help other countries that are having tremendous problems, to put it mildly. My administration is using every available authority to accelerate the development, study, and delivery of therapies, so important therapies, treatments, and ultimately what we want to come up with is a safe vaccine. But frankly, the therapies to me are the most important, because it takes care of people right now. The vaccines have to be tested, so it takes a longer period of time. But we have some great potential therapies already, and we'll see how they're working. We'll be able to report on that, I think, over the next week or two. Tremendous progress has been made. At least 35 clinical trials of promising therapies are now underway. So 35 different genius companies. If you look at AIDS, if you look at Ebola, if you look at so many things, they've come up with the answers to so many things. You wouldn't have believed it, and we're very honored to be working with them. They include antivirals and also, and they something which is incredible, keeps the virus from multiplying, a mechanism that keeps the virus from multiplying, immune therapies that prevent the immune system from overreaching to the virus, and convalescent plasma treatments that use antibodies from the blood of recovered patients. So we have a lot of patients who recover, and they're so happy to have recovered that the first thing they do is say, we want to give our blood. And they do that. It's incredible. We have thousands of people that are doing that. They recover. They feel they have an obligation because they've gotten such great care. And a lot of them didn't think they were going to make it. As the entire U.S. government works to combat the global pandemic, it is absolutely essential that the key positions at relevant federal agencies are fully staffed, and we're not allowing that to take place through our Congress. They're just not giving it to us. We have many, many positions that are unstaffed because we can't get the approvals. The Democrats are holding us up. We cannot get approval. We've gotten judges because we go through the process. I guess we're up to 448 federal judges, and that we've gotten because we focus on it. We take the maximum time, because no matter who the judge is, they take vast numbers of days and hours to approve, and leaves no time left for others. Very unfair system. If a judge is going to be approved in 1 hour in one session, it doesn't matter. They'll take the maximum number of hours and days, you're talking about days, to get one judge approved. And we're close to 250 judges, but because of the way they're doing it, there's no time for anybody else. And many of these people have been waiting for 2.5 years. We have a couple that have been waiting for longer than that. There are currently 129 nominees stuck in the Senate because of partisan obstruction. Many are nominated for vacancies that must be filled to assist with the coronavirus crisis and the resulting economic challenges. And I've read over the couple of years, well, I didn't fill positions. I don't fill positions. In some cases, we don't need the position, and I'm all for that. But in many cases, you do, but we can't get them approved by the Democrats. They won't release them. The positions include the Director of National Intelligence, 2 members of the Federal Reserve Board of Governors, the Assistant Secretary of Treasury for Financial Markets of the United States, and the Undersecretary of Agriculture responsible for administering food security programs. And Sonny Perdue, who's going to be speaking today, is saying, please, can I have this man, can I have this particular person approved as soon as possible? He's been telling me that for a long time, and the Democrats won't allow it to happen. Again, every single judge, every nominee we have goes through maximum, or at least they go through a long process. So it takes days and days, and there's no time left, and it's just a concerted effort to make life difficult. An example is Michael Pack. He's my nominee for the CEO of the Broadcasting Board of Governors, and he's been stuck in committee for 2 years, preventing us from managing the Voice of America. Very important. And if you heard what's coming out of the Voice of America, it's disgusting. What things they say are disgusting toward our country. And Michael Pack would get in. He'd do a great job, but he's been waiting now for 2 years. Can't get him approved. The Senate has left Washington until at least May 4th. The Constitution provides a mechanism for the president to fill positions in such circumstances. The recess appointment, it's called. The Senate's practice of gaveling into so-called pro forma sessions where no one is even there has prevented me from using the constitutional authority that we're given under the recess provisions. The Senate should either fulfill its duty and vote on my nominees, or it should formally adjourn so that I can make recess appointments. We have a tremendous number of people that have to come into government, and now more so than ever before because of the virus and the problem. We have to do it, and we have to do whatever we have to do. They've made it very, very difficult to run government. I don't think any administration has done anywhere near what we've done in 3.5 years. But every block, every week, they put up roadblocks. Whether it's Russia, or whether it's impeachment hoax, or whatever it may be, it's always roadblocks and a waste of time. If the House will not agree to that adjournment, I will exercise my constitutional authority to adjourn both chambers of Congress. The current practice of leaving town while conducting phony pro forma sessions is a dereliction of duty that the American people cannot afford during this crisis. It is a scam, what they do. It's a scam, and everybody knows it. And it's been that way for a long time. And perhaps it's never done before. It's never been done before. Nobody's even sure if it has, but we're going to do it. We need these people here. We need people for this crisis, and we don't want to play any more political games. I've been waiting for 2.5 years, 3 years for some of these people. And they're great people. They left law firms. They left jobs. They gave up everything to do it, and they've been waiting for 3 years, 2.5 years, 2 years, 1 year to get approved. It's ridiculous. And everyone knows they're going to be approved. But there's only so many hours in the day when you go through judges and you go through lengthy hearings on judges that they know should be approved immediately, and they could do it in one session, and they could do it in 1 hour. And instead it takes them many days. In order to advance the health and security of our nation and all nations, as we announced yesterday, the U.S. government has put a hold on funding to...
All right, folks, so we finally have well, I wouldn't say finally, but we do have the footage from the White House where President Trump is going to be speaking at Celebrate Truckers, an event at the White House. He is going to be talking to our nation's truckers and what they mean to us. We have a lot of respect for our nation's truckers, especially now more than ever before. But President Trump is set to speak to truckers in just a few moments. So let everyone know in the chat, because sometimes people have our live streams on mute, and when I go on microphone, they don't know I just said something. So let everyone know in the chat that we're switching over in just a few moments to the White House. Thank you so much for your help and your support. And if you share the live stream on Twitter, we'll give you guys a quick shout out as a thank you for your support. Oh, that's all we ask for, folks. That's all we ask for. Just a quick share on Twitter, on Facebook, on Gab, on Reddit. But if you share the live stream on Twitter, we'll give you a quick shout out as a thank you for your support. And also, if you follow us on Twitter at Gold State Times, we'll give you a shout out for following us, because you want to stay informed up to the second of what's going on in politics, breaking news, and everything else in between. All right, folks, hang tight. We are going to be switching over to the White House in just a few moments. Thank you so much.
To the WHO, World Health Organization, pending a review of the organization's cover-up and mismanagement of the coronavirus outbreak. Over the objections of the WHO, we took decisive action and early life-saving action to suspend travel from China. They didn't want to do it. They were angry that we did it. It was early on. They were angry that we did it. Took them a long time to realize what was going, but I have a feeling they knew exactly what was going on. Tragically, other nations put their trust in the WHO, and they didn't do any form of ban. And you see what happened to Italy. You see what happened to Spain. You see what happened to France. WHO's guidance had failed to control their borders at a very crucial phase, quickly unleashing the contagion around the world. That was a horrible, tragic mistake, or perhaps they knew. I'm sure they didn't know the gravity of it, but perhaps they knew. Because if they knew the gravity, that would be an even worse offense. To ease the economic pain of millions of American families, we've now processed $300 billion in loans to more than 1 million small businesses through the Paycheck Protection Program. This action has saved millions of American jobs. It's been an incredible success, and they want to replenish it now, but again, the Democrats don't want to do that. This is money that goes to the workers of our country. Phase one was $350 billion, and now phase two, we want to do $250 billion. This goes to workers, and it goes to small businesses, so we can save all the small businesses around our nation. Mike McFarland from Nebraska recently said this historic relief has been a godsend for his small factory and the 136 Americans who work there. Save those jobs. Another small business owner, Tim Miller from Oklahoma, called the program a total lifesaver for his auto repair shops for employees. Stories like these underscore why Congress must replenish the Paycheck Protection Program immediately. The Republicans want to do it. They want to do it immediately. They want to do it now. And the Democrats are stopping it. A short time ago, CDC issued public health guidelines for critical industries. In a few moments, Agricultural Secretary Sonny Perdue will elaborate on how these guidelines apply to our nation's dedicated workers in the food processing profession, because it's a profession. It's incredible what they do. Food processing, and they're keeping our grocery stores full. The shelves are not bare like the shelves that I inherited when we took over the stockpile, the medical stockpile, where the shelves were bare. The cupboard was bare, I say. Tomorrow I'll also be leading a call with elected officials who will consult with my administration as we work to restore our economy to full speed. And we really think with all of the stimulus and all of the pent-up demand, we're going to have an economy that really comes back quickly, and would like to see it more than match what we had before. What we had before was a miracle, and we think this is going to be even more than a miracle. We're going to do it because we have the greatest people in the world. We'll also be speaking to America's governors tomorrow, and then we'll be announcing exactly what's happening. You already know we'll be opening up states, some states much sooner than others. And we think some of the states can actually open up before the deadline of May 1st. And I think that that will be a very exciting time indeed. Governors are looking forward. They're chomping at the bit to get going. Again, not all states are the same. They're very different. Some are having very little problem. Some have done such a good job that they have very little problem, and they're ready to go. So Vice President Pence and I will be speaking with the governors tomorrow. We'll be discussing procedures. Today I spoke with the leaders of many of our nation's most renowned companies and organizations on how to achieve the full resurgence of the American economy. My discussions included top leaders in health and health care, transportation, technology, financial services, food, beverages, hospitality, real estate, retail, agriculture, construction, energy, labor, manufacturing, and sports industries. We want to get our country open again. We want to have our sports leagues open. You want to watch sports. It's important. We miss sports. We miss everything. We want to get back. These experts and innovators provided extremely productive feedback on how to safely reboot our economy. They gave us a lot of great ideas. We spoke to a lot of very, very smart people. The highest of the high tech, the level of IQ on some of those calls was about the highest you've ever seen on a phone call, that I can tell you. But we have a lot of great thought went into those calls, and a lot of questions came out, and also statements, very strong statements as to what they recommend. I think it was a great day. We did a lot of calling with a lot of very prominent people, but more importantly, very smart people and people that love our country. They talked about the vital importance of our wide array of relief measures to address the present crisis, and they provided valuable insights on how to move forward, including on the role of protective gear, where we have tremendous amounts of protective gear coming in, robust testing, and the future use of therapies and treatments. They also underscored the crucial importance of strong supply chains and communications infrastructure. We're talking about infrastructure for the middle of our country. We're talking about broadband and things that they frankly don't have and haven't had for a long time because a lot of politicians forgot about them. Can't forget about them. They're really the heart and soul. Can't forget about them. And we're talking about the telemedical. It's a new thing, and it's incredible what they've been able to do. This is an industry that's just growing, but it's grown by leaps and bounds over the last 5 weeks. People are learning so much. Without the ability to see a doctor, they're learning so much, and a lot of good things are happening. That's something that's really, going forward, I think, going to be very important for our country. As we've seen throughout our proud history, America is never greater than when our people are working in unison toward a common goal. That's what's happening right now. We'll go ahead, we'll forge an even brighter future today than we had, and we'll be, along with other nations, hopefully, we're working with other nations, we'll be the comeback kids, all of us, all of us. It's incredible what's going on. I'm very proud of the people of this country. I'm very proud of the people I spoke to today. These are truly great, brilliant people, and we've gained tremendous insight. So tomorrow's going to be a very big day. We're going to be speaking with the governors. We'll have some information on some openings. And again, we'll have some openings that will exceed our expectations, and they'll be safe, they'll be strong, but we want to get our country back. We want to get our country back, and we're going to do it, and we're going to do it soon. With that, I'd like to ask Dr. Birx to come up and say a few words, and then Secretary Sonny Perdue, and then Vice President Pence. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you for summarizing the states and what we're seeing. So over the last 5 to 6 days, we've seen declines in cases across the country, and this has been very reassuring for us. At the same time, we know that mortality and the fatalities that we're facing across the United States continue. We know the number of people who are still in the hospitals, in the ICUs, and we want to continue to recognize the healthcare workers who are on the front lines and really recognize how low the United States case fatality rates are compared to other countries. And this is really due not only to our technology, but how that technology is utilized to save lives. At the same time, I'm inspired by the American people who continue social distancing. These cases continue to decline because of the strong work of the American people. Also wanted to let you know that we do have 9 states that have less than 1,000 cases and less than 30 new cases per day. So we're looking at states and metro areas as individual areas. We talked before how each of these curves are different. Each of the cases' experiences are different. We have some states like California and Washington State, Oregon, that never really had a peak because of so much work that their populations did to decrease and keep the new cases down. So each of these individual states and individual metros are being studied very specifically. I do want to highlight, and we are remaining concerned, and we've been having discussions with Rhode Island. Rhode Island and Providence are in a unique situation. First, they had increasing cases from the New York City area, and now they have new increasing cases from the Boston area. They're caught between to incredible hotspots in the country. They're doing an extraordinary job. They're caring for the individuals in the front lines, but Providence continues to have new cases. And we do continue to work with specific states that have specific outbreaks related to individual occurrences. I will just remind the American people again, this is a highly contagious virus. Social gatherings coming together, is there always a chance that an asymptomatic person can spread the virus unknowingly? No one is intending to spread the virus. We know if you are sick, you will stay home. But to all of you that are out there that would like to join together and just have that dinner party for 20, don't do it yet. Continue to follow the presidential guidelines. We really appreciate the work of the American people. We see as a country we're improving. We see as metro areas we're improving. We see as communities, as counties, and as states we're improving. But that also still requires everyone to continue to social distance. And in the end, we do have states that have very few cases and very few new cases. And so these are the ones the president is referring to that have been silent, relatively silent throughout this epidemic and pandemic that many of us have faced. And so these are the groups we're working with very specifically. And each of these governors and each of these mayors will have to make decisions after generalized guidelines are put out so that they can do what's best for their communities. They are at the front line. And I wanted to conclude by really thanking my PEPFAR teams around the world who have been working tirelessly throughout the world to ensure that Africa and Asia doesn't experience this level of infections that we have seen here. They've turned over their capacities from their embassies. Our U.S. hires throughout the world, our ambassadors, are still on the front line with our local staff, working with ministries of health to confront this virus around the globe. And I assure you that they are continuing to invest in the health structures, the laboratory, and the frontline care to ensure that all of the work that we have done against TB, HIV, and malaria continues, but that we use our capacity, our laboratories, our clinics, our hospitals that have been built by the American people and the generosity of the American people to really combat this COVID-19 around the globe. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Doctor. Sonny, please.
Thank you, Mr. President, for the opportunity to be here with you today. And I want you to know it's an honor to represent you in leading the Department of Agriculture and represent the constituency who are crucial in maintaining our nation's food security, enabling us to keep food on the table of our American families, not only just food, but wholesome and safe food as well. I'd like to start my remarks today by echoing what my colleagues at the CDC have been saying regarding the health and safety of our essential employees across the United States. CDC's provided strategies there that aimed at helping our most critical workers, both in healthcare and in food processing, to quickly and safely to return to work after potential exposure to COVID-19, provided those workers are symptom-free. And this guidance will help these critical industries in the food sector protect the health and safety of essential workers while keeping critical functions working throughout the COVID-19 response. As we know, any employee who develops symptoms while on the job should go home immediately, and the interim guidance is in line with CDC's recommendations for healthcare workers caring for those sick with COVID-19. So we appreciate the dedication and commitment of all the brave men and women working to keep their communities fed, and we will continue to work with the CDC to keep those individuals as safe as possible during these challenging times. In that vein, there's been a lot happening this week as COVID-19 is impacting food processing facilities, as you know. For Americans who may be worried about access to good food because of this, I want to assure you the American food supply is strong, resilient, and safe. And in fact, our food supply chain has shown tremendous agility in shifting production and logistics so suddenly from restaurant and institutional settings to retail settings. To all the employers out there in this sector, it's critical that you follow CDC guidelines and guidance and best practices to keep all of your employees and people safe and healthy. To employees and local public health officials advising them, the CDC has issued guidelines on how to mitigate a situation if you have a positive case in one of your facilities. We need our local health authorities and our state health authorities to do everything they can to balance the demand of keeping our facilities operational and our critical industries going, while at the same time keeping the health and safety of employees as a top priority, as well as our communities. So I want to also take this time to thank all of our critical, essential food supply chain workers. The entire country is counting on these patriotic individuals by doing the work in our food supply chain. These dedicated workers include, obviously, farmers and producers, but also processors, truckers, and grocery store workers, as you know. America's depending on what you have, the food we need to feed our families, and you're the ones who are making that happen. Thank you. As an entire nation, we're truly thankful for the work you're doing, and we recognize that you are the true patriotic heroes during this national emergency, along with our healthcare workers. So before I sign off here, Mr. President, I want to remind you and all of us of one more thing. In the United States, we have plenty of food for all of our citizens. I want to be clear. The bare store shelves that you may see in some cities in the country are a demand issue, not a supply issue. The way food is prepared and packaged to be sold in a restaurant or a school is significantly different than the way it's packaged for you to buy in the grocery store. Our supply chain is sophisticated, efficient, integrated, and synchronized, and it's taken us a few days to relocate the misalignment between institutional settings and grocery settings. But that does not mean that we don't have enough food in this country to feed the American people. You might think of it as an interstate when it's flowing along well, and you have a crash at one place, it backs up, and that's what's happened in the food supply chain, but we're working through that. Yet through all this, our food supply chain has proven to be very resilient, just like the American people. To the extent we have challenges, we have and continue to need to work through it all together. And we can and we will get through this with a whole of American approach, Mr. President, a critical partnership between state and local health officials, a management of companies, and the employees, and we will meet any challenges we face by working together. Thank you, sir, for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. And before the Vice President comes up, I just wanted to say, speaking of Sonny, China has paid us billions of dollars, many, many billions of dollars in tariffs, which we've distributed some to the farmers because they were targeted. We have many billions of dollars being held by Sonny, and I've told him to distribute much of that money to the farmers. Our farmers were targeted, and now they're benefiting by the amount that they were targeted. And we are very honored to do that. And Sonny, you're going to start that process very soon. You'll let the farmers know. Nobody can take advantage of our farmers. So we have a lot of money that we've taken in from China. We're going to be distributing that money from Sonny to the farmers. And there's tremendous money over and above that. That money was paid directly into the Treasury of the United States. This has never happened to China before. They never gave us 10 cents. Now they're paying us billions of dollars, and we appreciate it. So thank you very much, Sonny. Great job. Please. Mike, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. The White House Coronavirus Task Force met today. It was reported to us that we've conducted and completed 3,324,000 tests across the nation. More than 619,000 Americans have tested positive. But as you reflected yesterday when we welcomed coronavirus survivors here to the White House from across the country, some more than 45,000 Americans have fully recovered. Sadly, we mourn the loss of more than 27,000 of our countrymen. Our hearts are with their families and with the families of all of those that continue to struggle with the serious consequences of this illness. But as Dr. Birx just reflected, despite the heartbreaking losses, we're getting there, America. Because of the efforts of people all across this country to put into practice the President's coronavirus guidelines, because of their adherence to the direction of state and local authorities, As Dr. Birx just reflected, we see great signs of progress from the West Coast to the East Coast. President Trump has directed our team to develop new guidelines that will be presented tomorrow to our nation's governors and released to the American people thereafter. The American people will be encouraged to know that as we stand here today, 24% of the counties of this country have no reported coronavirus cases. In fact, half of the states in America have less than 2,500 cases per state. This is a great tribute to the efforts by the people of those communities. But as the President suggested, when we unveil the guidelines that the team has been working to present tomorrow to our nation's governors, we're going to reflect on the fact that, as the President said, there will be areas of the country that will require continued mitigation and strong efforts, and there will be other areas of the country that will be given guidance for greater flexibility. And the President has so directed our team. When we think of more than 619,000 Americans having tested positive, more than 45,000 having recovered, we wanted to announce today that the FDA recently announced efforts to facilitate the development and access to convalescent plasma. Mr. President, you've spoken about this. People who have recovered from the coronavirus have antibodies in your bloodstream that can attack the virus. The Mayo Clinic today is working with the Red Cross to make sure that coronavirus patients have access to the convalescent plasma treatments, and over 1,000 institutions across America have already joined this program. And we want to urge every American who has recovered from the coronavirus for at least 2 and preferably 4 weeks to contact your local blood or plasma donation center and arrange to donate. It's one more way that the American people can do their part and step forward. And thousands have already done so, and we know that tens of thousands will join them. On the subject of supplies, Mr. President, I'll be very brief because you detailed a great amount. As the President mentioned, the air bridge has completed 44 flights, 56 more are scheduled. But on the subject of facial masks, which are so important for the protection of critical infrastructure, I'm pleased to report that the average daily delivery through the commercial network through our air bridge is 22 million facial masks coming into the marketplace. The average inventory in the network over a 7-day period is 80 million masks. And FEMA is actually working as we speak to move facial masks to priority infrastructure, food supply, first responders. There'll be 6.5 million masks that go out before the end of this week, an additional 20 million before April the 20th, and then we'll be adding 6.5 million each and every week. At the President's direction, we're going to ensure that all of those that work in food supply, all of those first responders, have access to masks, and we're increasing those every day. Finally, I know I speak for the President when I say how proud we are of all of our healthcare workers across the country, and how proud we are of the men and women in uniform, our medical professionals who have been deployed across the nation, literally by the thousands. In fact, as we stand here today, 576 doctors, nurses, and other military medical professionals have been deployed to 13 hospitals across the nation, 10 in New York, and 1 in Connecticut, Texas, and Louisiana each. And as the President reflected a few days ago, because we happily did not have the demand on the Javits Center and on the comfort in New York City, at the President's direction, we have deployed doctors and nurses from those 2 facilities to hospitals. In fact, the President and I were just speaking to Mayor de Blasio just before we came out, and he expressed his great admiration and appreciation for the relief that these medical military personnel have provided to incredibly dedicated people in our hospitals. 258 medical personnel just yesterday were deployed off the ship and out of the Javits Center into New York. With that, Mr. President, I'll step aside, but it's remarkable to think of all that we've accomplished over the last month since you first issued the presidential guidelines for America. The truth is, because of what the American people have done over the last 30 days, we are slowing the spread. We are ensuring that every American family would have access to the health care that we want any member of our family to have with the greatest healthcare professionals in the world. We're saving lives, and we're healing our land. And so we want to thank the American people for all you have done. And tomorrow we'll be presenting a new guidance to the governors of this country about how we build on our progress and reopen America in a safe and responsible way. Thank you, Mr. President.
On the recess appointment, Mr. President, if I could.
Mr. President. Steve, please.
You've mentioned the possibility of adjourning both chambers of Congress. Could you explain what you meant by this?
Very simple. If they don't act on getting these people approved that we need because of we need them anyway, but we especially need now because of the pandemic. We are going to do something that will be something I'd prefer not doing, but which I should do and I will do if I have to. Caitlin, go ahead.
For you. One, on a call with business leaders today, they said testing has got to be ramped up significantly before they feel comfortable reopening their stores, their restaurants, and whatnot. Isn't that what health officials and state governors have been?
It's what I want to. We have great tests, and we want the states to administer these tests for the most part, but we're standing behind them. We have great tests. We've done more testing now than any country, as you know, in the world by far. We have the best tests of any country in the world. Nobody has the quality of tests. If you look at Abbott, what they've come up with in a short period of time, they've been incredible. Roche has been incredible. We have the best tests in the world, and we will be working very much with the governors of the states. We want them to do it. We're not going to be running a parking lot in Arkansas. We're not going to be running a parking lot where you have a Walmart, which has been great, by the way. Walmart has done a fantastic job, but where you have a testing center and running that from Washington, D.C. The states are much better equipped to do it. But we'll be working with the states. We're standing behind the states. We're going to work very closely with the governors in terms of that, getting additional equipment. It used to be 3-4 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, could we get more ventilators? More ventilators, right? And we got them ventilators, and you don't hear that anymore. It's been pretty amazing what we've been able to do. Yeah, go ahead, John.
Walmart, a lot of those testing centers are still for first responders, healthcare workers who have symptoms only. When is it going to be widespread enough to where these companies can feel comfortable being open? Will that?
Well, I think the companies will determine that, and the governors will determine that, and the federal government will do. And if we're not happy, we'll take very strong action against a state or a governor. If we're not happy with the job a governor's doing, we'll let them know about it. And as you know, we have very strong action we can take, including a close down. But we don't want to do that. We're working with the governors, and we're working closely with the governors. The relationship has been very good. Vice President has had a lot of conversations over the last 2 weeks with either 50 or almost 50 governors on every conversation, and they've been really positive conversations. We have the right to do whatever we want, but we wouldn't do that. But no, we would have the right to close down what they're doing if we want to do that. But we don't want to do that, and I don't think there'll be any reason to do that, but we have the right to do that. Steve, go ahead. Go ahead.
You got me already.
Mr. President, why did you have your name added to these coronavirus relief checks?
Well, I don't know too much about it, but I understand my name is there. I don't know where they're going, how they're going. I do understand it's not delaying anything, and I'm satisfied with that. I don't imagine it's a big deal. I'm sure people will be very happy to get a big, fat, beautiful check, and my name is on it. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Mr. President,
go ahead, please.
Please. Why are
please. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. Dr. Birx just said that Rhode Island is seeing an increase in cases from people that are coming from Boston and New York. You just said you'd like to reopen some states before May 1. How will you stop a second spike in cases if people are traveling between states? How will you control the flow of people?
Well, the governors can control that flow, as an example. In fact, I just saw a little while ago it was reported that certain borders are being controlled already by states. They're starting to take control of their borders, which is good. So they'll be controlling. They may do testing for people wanting to come in. I'd read that about Rhode Island, so they have to watch it. They have to be very careful. Yeah, please, in the back.
Thank you, Mr. President, about reopening the country again. You said, along with other nations, what form would it take? Are you considering also relaxing the border between Canada and the U.S.?
So our relationship with Canada is very good. We'll talk about that. It will be one of the early borders to be released. Canada's doing well. We're doing well. We'll see. But at some point, we'll be doing that. In the meantime, nations that are heavily infected, we have a lot of nations that are heavily infected. Some are getting better. Some are still on the way up, unfortunately. We're keeping very strong borders with those nations. But with Canada, we are talking about different things. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, you said the evidence suggests that nationwide we have passed the peak on new cases. What's your evidence for that? What are the numbers saying?
Well, all we're doing is looking at the numbers. We're looking at our graphs. We're looking at our models. We're getting a great response from Deborah and from Tony and from many of the professionals that are working. We have great professionals working with us. And I think based on that, we're doing very well. Based on that, it looks like we're headed absolutely in the right direction. But some states are looking at other states and they're saying, I can't imagine what they're going through because they're not in that position. They're in very good shape. I would say that we have 20 states at least, but you really have 29 that are in extremely good shape. You have others that are getting much better. And I think with almost few exceptions, you have every state that is either doing better or on the way to doing better. Yeah, please. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. On your threat to adjourn Congress, clearly you have the power, Article 2, Section 3, but that'd be quite radical to do. Earlier last month, you were in the Oval Office, talked about now is not the time for partisanship. How will that act lower the partisanship in this town, and could it potentially hinder your ability to get something done on coronavirus?
Well, look, it's been a very partisan government for a long period of time, not just this administration. You can go back into the last two administrations. You've seen a lot of partisanship. And even now, you would think that we wouldn't have, as an example, with the paycheck plan. That's going so well. It's so smooth, so beautiful, almost without a hitch. All of that money is being distributed to small businesses. They're giving it to their employees. It's keeping them ready, viable, so when we open. And now it's been so good that it's almost depleted, and we want to replenish it. And we can't get the Democrats to approve it. And that's a program that they and everybody else admit that are great. So you do have partisanship. We have been trying for years to get people approved for positions. People have left. One man left a law firm. One man left a big chain. He was a very successful executive. He left. It was 2 years ago. We have people that have been waiting for 3 years. And we can't get them approved by the Democrats in the Senate because they're taking so long to approve our judges. Now, I have to tell you that I'm totally in favor of what Mitch is doing with judges because that always seems to be a priority, and it's a very important priority. I think it's one of the great trademarks of this administration. We've approved record numbers of federal judges and appellate judges and 2 Supreme Court judges. But rather than approving somebody who's highly qualified, somebody that everybody knows is going to be approved, rather than going quickly, they take the maximum amount of time, whatever that time may be. And what they're doing by doing that is taking days to approve somebody that could be approved in a quick vote. People that get phenomenal reviews in committee are going maximum number of hours. And what they do is there's only so many hours in a day. Now, we could have said, let's stay. I would have been in favor of that. They didn't choose to do it. But I have a very strong power. I'd rather not use that power. But we have way over 100 people that we very badly need in this administration that should have been approved a long time ago. And one of them is the head of Voice of America. If you look at what they're doing and what they're saying about our country, it's a disgrace, the people that are running that. We have somebody that's really good, really talented, and that loves our country. And I want to get these people approved. That's one of many. We have professionals. Sonny, you've been waiting for, how long have you been waiting for the man that we're talking about coming in? 2.5 years. So Sonny Perdue just happens to be here talking about something else. So you've been waiting for one of the most important positions as Secretary of Agriculture is the position. It's distribution. We need it now. We're talking about shelves. We're talking about cupboards. He needs it. He's been waiting. He didn't know he was going to get this question. You've been waiting 2.5 years. The person is exceptional. That person left a very good job. And it's embarrassing to me. He'll say, do you think you'll get that man approved? He's been saying that to me for a long time. It's because of the Democrats. And what we're doing is, and I think anybody here would do it, judges are a priority. A federal judge who's going to sit for 50 years, potentially, a young judge going to be sitting for, that's always going to have to be a priority. But because they're taking so much time and approving they're trying to put.
All right, folks, we apologize that it's taking forever. The White House, they always throw curveballs. You know, just something I want to let everyone know. They always try to do something or another. So we are trying to get the footage from the White House where President Trump is going to be celebrating America's truckers at an event. So we're going to be switching over in just a few moments, folks. It starts it was supposed to start half an hour ago. It was supposed to start half an hour ago. We were supposed to have footage within 10 minutes after we started streaming. But no updates till like 3 or 4 minutes ago. Oh, guess what, guys? It's going to start at 11 a.m. instead of 10:20 or 10:15 a.m. I'm talking all this in Pacific time. So now they're saying that it's going to start in like 5 minutes. So we'll be switching over in 5 minutes, hopefully, unless they throw another curveball. But yeah, so don't forget, also later on today, President Trump is doing a press briefing. He's going to outline the way to open up America once again. So the plan that he was talking about on this video that you just watched, that is going to be the topic later on today for the press briefing. We are awaiting footage from the White House where President Trump is going to celebrate America's truckers. Once again, this was scheduled to start. President Trump should have been speaking by now, but the White House has delayed it just a tiny bit. So let's see what happens. You know, we try to make sure that we give you guys the best experience possible. But when the White House throws you curveballs, there's really absolutely nothing you can possibly do. And let's just hope that it starts in just a few moments and we'll be switching over hot mic and everything.
Put us through the mill. That's when you talk about partisanship, and it's never, ever happened before. You can look at every administration in the history of this country. Nobody has ever had hundreds of people not approved after 3.5 years. Go ahead, please.
Timeline for that, though. If Congress doesn't act
we'll
by
know
when,
soon.
do you have a date?
They know. They've been warned, and they're being warned right now. If they don't approve it, then we're going to go this route. And we'll probably be challenged in court, and we'll see who wins. But when the court hears that we aren't getting people approved, as Sonny would say, for 2.5 years for an important position that we need because of this crisis, we needed these people before, but now we really need these people.
When you talk about, back to the numbers for a second, when you talk about the numbers, the jobless claims are going to come out tomorrow. It's likely around 5 million more Americans putting their names in for unemployment benefits, but yet there are still a couple thousand people as well dying a day because of coronavirus. When you talk about opening up the American economy, or at least in parts now, how do you balance that decision out given both of those figures?
Well, there has to be a balance. You know, there's also death involved in keeping it closed. And I've gone over this with you, and I believe this so strongly. When you look at mental health, when you look at suicides, suicide hotlines which are exploding, people losing their jobs, when you look at drugs and people that didn't take drugs and now they're becoming drug addicted because they're going through a problem, they have no job, they have no money coming in, other than the money we're getting them. We've opened up the coffers to a large extent. We're helping people. This is why I wish the Democrats would help us a little bit with it, because they should. It's purely partisan what they're doing, and it's bad for our country. But you know, there is death by having this strongly closed country. We have to get back to work. With all of that being said, we're going to start with states and with governors that have done a great job, and they're going to open it up as they see fit, and we're going to be right behind them, and we're going to be working. We're going to be supplying them with things if they don't have them. We want them to have them. We're going to be helping them with ventilators after this is over so that they can't say, oh, the federal government. We want them to have, they've had a lot of options. Many of the governors have had a lot of options over the years to buy ventilators. They didn't choose to do it. So we're going to be helping them to fill up their stockpiles. We're going to have plenty. And as I said, I'm very proud to do it. We're going to be helping other nations. We're going to be helping Italy, Spain, France, other nations, and we're going to be helping them strongly. I think Russia is going to need ventilators. They're having a hard time in Moscow. We're going to help them. We're going to help other countries that need ventilators. We're going to have a lot. You see it with General Motors.
All right, folks. So really quick, regarding the numbers that President Trump is talking about, those got released earlier today. So it says, this comes courtesy of The Hill, and it says 5.2 million more file for unemployment. It says another 5.2 million people filed initially for unemployment claim benefits for the week ending in April 11th, according to the Department of Labor, adding to the sharpest and most severe rise in joblessness in the nation's history. Thursday's report is the fourth in a row showing more than 1 million initial claims, a level that has not been seen pretty much ever. Overall, more than 22 million people have filed for initial benefits in the span of over 4 weeks, accounting for about 1 in every 7 workers in the economy. So they're saying that 1 in 7 right now have unemployment benefits or have filed for initial unemployment benefits. So as of right now, there's more than 22 million Americans getting unemployment benefits or applying for it. So those are the numbers of today that they were just talking about that just came out. I just wanted to let you guys know, in case you guys hadn't seen it or haven't heard of it about it, you heard it here first. All right, folks, once again, we're working very hard to try to switch over to the White House, and we should do so in just a few moments.
You see it with other companies that are producing. We're going to have hundreds of thousands of ventilators, and it's a great thing to have. Yes, in the back, please. Is anybody freezing? You know, it's very cold out here, so we can leave early, right? Okay, a couple of more. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Why do we have 20% of the world's deaths from the coronavirus when we're only 4% of the world's population?
Well, you don't know what you have. Do you think you're getting honest numbers from some of these countries? Do you really believe those numbers in this vast country called China, and that they have a certain number of cases and a certain number of deaths? Does anybody really believe that? Here's the story. We report everything. We're reporting the cases, and our reporting is good. We're reporting every death. In fact, I see this morning where New York added 3,000 deaths because they died, and they're now saying, rather than it was a heart attack, they're saying it was a heart attack caused by this, so they're adding. If you look at it, that's it. And everything we have is documented, reported. And what they are doing is, just in case, they're calling it this, and that's okay. That's okay. But we have more cases because we do more reporting. We have more cases because everything is down. But does anybody really believe the numbers of some of these countries that you've been watching and you've been reporting on, and then it's like they didn't have the big thing? There have been some really, really bad, heavily in really some countries that are in big, big trouble, and they're not reporting the facts. And that's up to them. All I know is we report the facts, and we're a country that's getting better. John, go ahead.
Mr. President, multiple sources are telling Fox News today that the United States government now has high confidence that while the coronavirus is a naturally occurring virus, it emanated from a virology lab in Wuhan, that because of lax safety protocols, an intern was infected, who later infected her boyfriend, and then went to the wet market in Wuhan, where it began to spread. Does that correspond with what you have heard from officials?
Well, I don't want to say that, John, but I will tell you more and more we're hearing the story, and we'll see. When you say multiple sources, now there's a case where you can use the word sources, but we are doing a very thorough examination of this horrible situation that happened. Go ahead, please.
In your many conversations with President Xi, Mr. President, did you ever discuss with him State Department concerns about lax safety protocols that had been reported to the State Department from the embassy in Beijing about that laboratory?
I don't want to discuss what I talked to him about the laboratory. I just don't want to discuss it. It's inappropriate right now. Please, go ahead in the back.
Tim Alvier from Channel 9 Australia. There have been calls in our country for Prime Minister Scott Morrison to make funding for WHO conditional on reforms to the organisation. Wanted to get your thoughts on that, and if you had any advice for Mr. Morrison.
Look, I feel very badly about the World Health Organization, but it's been a tool of China. It's been, as I say, totally China-centric, you take a look at everything that's happened. They've been wrong. I was all for it at the beginning. What do I know? I walked in, I said, World Health Organization, isn't that wonderful? And then you start to see all the mistakes. They didn't want us to close our borders to China, to Wuhan, specifically. They didn't want our borders closed. You take a look, Mike was there, we're all there, and they're criticizing me for closing the border. I did that very early. By the way, I did that very early while Nancy Pelosi was trying to have in San Francisco parties in Chinatown because she thought it would be great. She wanted to show that this thing doesn't exist. These are people, I'll tell you, we have some politicians on the other side that don't know what they're doing. If you look at timelines, you got to look at some timelines. But the World Health Organization, just like the World Trade Organization, I'm telling you, I call them, they have been treating the United States for decades so badly, and they've been so in favor of China. China took off when it joined the World Trade Organization because of what's happened. Think of it. They're considered a developing nation, and because they're and we're not. Well, we're a developing nation too in my book, okay? We're developing too. But the fact is, we have been treated so badly by these organizations, and believe me, I'm looking at that one too. We're winning a lot of lawsuits right now that we never won before in the past. We're winning a lot of money that we never won in the past. That's with the World Trade. But with the World Health Organization.
All right, folks, so give me a second. You're going to see a screen that says stand by. Live stream will start soon. We're switching over to the White House. So just give us a second here as we get everything ready to go. We apologize, but once again, the White House threw us a curveball. They said that this was going to start at 10:30, which was a little bit over half an hour ago. And at the last second, they said, oh, wait, no, never mind. We're going to start around 11, which is right now. And I'm talking about Pacific time, not Eastern time. So Pacific time, 10 a.m. And that's the time. 10:30 a.m. was the time that it was supposed to start. That was half an hour ago. Now they're saying, oh, it's going to start at 11. And now they're saying 11:15, which is what, 2:15 Eastern, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, around 2:15 Eastern. So we're in the same position as everybody else, folks, because this is crazy. The White House does their best, but they need to do a little bit better. That's all I have to say. But yeah, so it should start very soon, and we're ready to go. We're ready for the White House, but it's the White House's call whenever. All right, folks, so I'm going to be giving shout outs to everyone that is sharing the live stream. Once again, I apologize that it hasn't, that we haven't been able to get the footage onto your screen, but the White House is just not working correctly today. I don't know what's going on with them. But thank you so much to Dio Toner for sharing the live stream. And we also have Carolyn Hulson. Thank you so much for sharing the stream. Don't forget, folks, President Trump is also having a press briefing later on today. He's going to outline his plan to reopen America at the press briefing coming at 2 p.m. That is Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. So stay tuned for that later on today. Right now, President Trump is set to deliver a speech celebrating America's truckers from the White House. Let's see, who else is sharing the live stream, folks? I know it's been a while. Probably a lot of Patriots already shared it, but it's all the way at the bottom here. Let's see. We have Undying Night Gaming. Thank you so much for your continued support. We also have, let's see, Jane Drake. Thank you so much for sharing the stream. Once again, folks, I apologize. This was supposed to start at 10:30 a.m. They told us, oh, we're going to start on time. It's going to start at 10:30, which is Pacific time. It's going to start, no problems and all this stuff. And then the last time I was on the microphone, like five minutes ago, they had barely told us, oh, guess what? Now it's going to start at 11. And then they tell us, oh, no, wait, it's going to start at 11:15, which is in, like, what, 6 minutes? A little bit over 6 minutes. So we're just going by their timetable, folks. But we apologize. I'm going to be sharing a tweet. Some trucks are at the White House. So if you guys want to check out that picture from the White House of the truck, the big rigs at the White House right now, then make sure you go and check it out. Our Twitter is at Gold State Times. So we're sharing pictures of all of the big rigs at the White House. So if you want to check it out, we want to give Nikki Silvers a big shout out for sharing the live stream. Let's see, who else do we have on here, folks? If you like to share the live stream, that would be amazing. That helps us out immensely. And we'll be very grateful if you do. Also, don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Gold State Times. All right, let's see. We also have Myron. Thank you so much, Myron, for sharing the stream. We have Patriots Are Us. We also have Save the Littles. Let's see. We have Jody. Thank you so much, Jody. We also have IME. Thank you so much for sharing the live stream. Let's see. We have Donald Dixon. Thank you so much, Donald, for sharing the stream. And we also have here, we have Gadia. I hope I said that right, Gadia. Thank you so much to Mark and Kafifi777. Thank you so much for sharing the stream. We also have Patricia Carpenter. Thank you so much for your continued support. The stream for President Trump's press briefing later on today is already on the channel. So if you want to swing by the channel and go give that live stream a thumbs up, that would be amazing. It helps us out. It helps us out a lot. Oh, here we go. Now we got it. All right, folks. So we have the footage from the White House, and this is an awesome, awesome background. FedEx and the American flag. You'll see it in a second right now. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, folks. Give me 1 second here. All right, so now that is an awesome backdrop. That's an awesome background for this event. As you guys can see, American flag big rig, and also the FedEx, and there was also Dahl and other shipping companies present there too. But this is awesome. This is live footage from the White House, folks. This is live footage from the White House. But let us know what you guys think about the background here. Here, let me fix something real quick. All right, you guys are going to be able to see it better now. There we go. Okay. So what do you guys think about that background, folks? Let me know in the chat. What do you guys think about that background? And don't forget to please share this live stream on social media. If you already shared it, I apologize that I haven't given you your shout out, but I was just working so hard to make sure that we got the footage live from the White House. So I'll try to find all of the people that shared it, but if you can share it again, that would even be better, and I'll give you a shout out because there's so many tweets that I have to keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and trying to find some Patriots here. But I have found Soel, thank you so much, So well, 2 Drinks Taylor, thank you so much for your continued support. Let me look at the chat real quick. Let me take a look at the chat. Once again, I want to apologize that we didn't get the footage when we were supposed to. I'm still a little uneasy about that. Oh, we like to welcome a new member, One Truth Sir. Thank you so much, One Truth Sir, for your support in sharing the and supporting us through membership, believing in Golden State Times, and supporting the free press. So there's a lot of trucks there, folks. We are sharing some of the trucks at the White House on our Twitter, if you want to check that out. Thank you so much to Yuki Gal. Thank you so much, Floyd Maxwell and IndyQ. Thank you so much for your continued support. If you haven't yet, please share the live stream on social media. We also have DMCHO Design. Thank you so much for sharing the live stream. We also have Manifesting Miracles and KT. Thank you so much, KT, for your support. But let us know what you guys think about that background, folks. FedEx truck, and the other one is American. What is that company called? American Moving or something like that. But there's also other trucks at the White House. We're going to be sharing some on our social media at Gold State Times. We want to give a big thank you to DC Document Reports for sharing the live stream on social media. Thank you so much for your help. So once again, we're going to be sharing the big rigs, pictures of the big rigs on our social media at Gold State Times. If you guys want to check it out, that would be amazing. All right, I'll be back on the microphone in just a few moments to give more shout outs, folks, but this is live. Oh, here we go. As you guys can see, there are some of the big trucks. We have DHL. We also have Interstate 1, American Interstate 1. That's what the name of the company is. Interstate 1 and FedEx in the house. And I think that's an awesome backdrop for an awesome speech. So stay tuned, share the live stream, give it a thumbs up, and say hello in the chat. There's the other side. There you go. Good job, camera guy. Good job. Awesome. UPS and FedEx on the other side. By the way, folks, this is not to showcase where the trucks are made. This is just to showcase the different companies that are working to make sure that our shelves and our stores and our deliveries online are being met, and that these truckers are working extremely hard. So they're showcasing the companies like FedEx and UPS and DHL and Interstate 1 and other companies that work in shipping, distributing, and in logistics too. So that's what they're showcasing at this event. So don't forget, folks, click the thumbs up button, and I'll be giving shout outs to everyone that is sharing the live stream on social media. So if you can share the live stream, that would be great. If you already did, or you did a while ago, thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for your support and your help here at Golden State Times. All right, folks, so we'd like to give a big thank you and a welcome to our new followers on Twitter. We got Joe Phillips, Texas Proud. Thank you so much for following us on Twitter at Gold State Times. Angela Flight, Amanda Rivera, Amy Rice, Orlando Wallace, Kyle Murray. Thank you so much for following us on Twitter at Gold State Times. Aloha Breeze 5462, Derek DePepe, HK Mac, Barbara Green, Bobby D, Emir S, Scott Sauer, Amber Caldwell. Thank you so much for following us on Twitter at Gold State Times. Looking InfoWin 21, The White Rabbit, Ms. Palacicia, I hope I said that right. Thank you so much for following us on Twitter. Karen, Stefan, Ted Turner, Crowleen, Wendy, Duke, Jen, Harry, and Spiritual Patriot. Thank you so much for following us on Twitter at Gold State Times. Andrew Lee, Pepe Lefrog, The Watchtowers, and Neo Tribal Q. Thank you so much for following us on Twitter. Also, we'll be giving shout outs in just a few moments to everyone that is sharing the live stream on social media. So if you haven't yet, share the stream on Twitter and we'll give you a quick shout out as a thank you. But you can also share it on Facebook and Gab and Reddit and all of those social media sites. It helps us out immensely. Thank you so much. All right, folks, so we just noticed right now that we are the only ones with footage from the White House, so you guys can see the awesome big rigs, so you guys can see the awesome trucks. FedEx in the house. We also have DHL, and we have also other ones. I'm sharing some of the pictures on our Twitter at Gold State Times if you guys want to check it out. It's pretty awesome. President Trump should be coming out very soon, and we're going to be giving shout outs to everyone that is sharing the live stream on Twitter. But also don't forget to share it on Facebook and Gab and Reddit. That's all we ask for. I know it gets annoying sometimes, but folks, we do not come up on search. Like if we did, it wouldn't be, we wouldn't be in a situation that we're in. So we don't come up on social media search. We don't come up on Google and anything like that. So the only reason we come up is because of you sharing the stream, because of you letting Patriots know that we're live. So thank you so much for that. So we'll be giving shout outs in just a few moments. All right, folks, so the hot mic is on. The hot mic is on. We're just awaiting President Trump. But the hot mic is on. I don't know if we're going to be able to hear anything other than birds chirping and cars passing by, but we'll try to see what we can catch. It should start once again very, very soon. Thank you so much for choosing Golden State Times as your stream of choice, and I'll see you in the chat.
States, accompanied by the Secretary of Transportation.
That's beautiful stuff. They are beautiful, beautiful trucks. That's the real deal. You wouldn't switch jobs with anybody, would you, huh? Yes, sir. You wouldn't. I know the truckers. They wouldn't switch with anybody. It's what they love, right? That's why they're good at it. These are the best, too. Well, thank you all for being here as we celebrate some of the heroes of our nation's great struggle against the coronavirus. Our brave, bold, and incredible truckers. And look at that equipment. They're the best made. And great companies also, and companies that have really helped us a lot. We appreciate that. At a time of widespread shutdowns, truck drivers form the lifeblood of our economy and the absolute lifeblood. For days and sometimes weeks on end, truck drivers leave their homes and deliver supplies that American families need and count on during this national crisis, and at all other times. They're always there. Their routes connect every farm, hospital, manufacturer, business, and community in the country. In the war against the virus, American truckers are the foot soldiers who are really carrying us to victory, and they are. They've done an incredible job. We've had no problems. It's been just great, and we want to thank you very much. It's really great. We have a little special award, too. To every trucker listening over the radio or behind the wheel, I know I speak for the 330 million plus Americans that we say, thank God for truckers. That'll be our theme. Thank God for truckers. On this special occasion, when we honor the truck drivers of America, I'm grateful to be joined by Secretary of Transportation Elaine Chao, who's doing a fantastic job, and the CEO of the American Trucking Association, Chris Spear. Secretary Chao, please say a few words. Thank you. Thank you, Elaine.
Mr.
You can
President.
move that if you'd like.
I'm a little bit shorter, so. Mr. President, thank you so much. I am so pleased to join the President in honoring America's heroes, our country's truck drivers and trucking industry. The whole country is cheering you on. Without you, it would be impossible to keep our economy moving and get food, medical equipment, and essential supplies to where they need to be. The U.S. Department of Transportation has been hard at work to help you do this difficult job for our country. At the President's direction, we have reached out to the trucking industry on an unprecedented basis, listening to your concerns, providing regulatory relief, and helping ensure that truck stops and state rest stops are open and food is available. We are so grateful for what you do. Truckers are playing a heroic role in helping America cope during this crisis, and truckers will be a critical part in helping our economy recover once this crisis is past us. The administration is here for you. Just let us know. So a big thank you to America's truckers, their families, and to the entire trucking industry for keeping our country moving. You are truly America's heroes. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Thanks. That's beautiful. Thank you very much, Elaine. From the moment the invisible enemy landed on our shores, America's 3.5 million truckers have never wavered at all, and they've never, ever let us down. When we supply our country, we supply it through truckers, and supply chains were stretched thin to hospitals and cities and states. They needed massive convoys of supplies. The truckers kept on going day and night. Didn't make any difference to them. They had to get the job done. With us today is Charlton Paul, a driver with UPS Freight from New York and a leader in the Teamsters Local 707. I know the Teamsters well. I've had many a concrete truck in New York delivering to my buildings as I was building them. Charlton, I want to just thank you for the great job you've done. I have a little special award for each of you. And please come up, tell us about your experience. Please, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Secretary Chao. My name is Charlton Paul. I've been with UPS for nearly 25 years. As growing up, the only thing I wanted to do was sit behind the wheel of one of these massive trucks. It's an honor in having a role in part of fighting this coronavirus. I'm an America's Road Team Captain. I'm an UPS All-Star. I drive 606 miles every day from Newburgh, New York to Brookville, Pennsylvania. I recently carried 180 gallons of hand sanitizer made by one of our customers, Prohibition Distillery in upstate New York. Some of my colleagues of UPS Freight have been delivering barrels of hand sanitizer to the New York City Police Department. I couldn't be more proud of my team. I'm also honored to be here representing more than 495,000 UPS workers worldwide to get essential supplies to our frontline healthcare and emergency responders every day. Lastly, my hat is off to the entire trucking industry for keeping our country and our economy moving. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, sir.
This is beautiful. Come on over here. We'll take this. This is for you.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Thank you, sir.
And thank you very much, Gerald. Appreciate it. Great job. We're also joined by Dylan Madigan, a driver for DHL Express, who's been delivering personal protective equipment to hard-hit areas of New Jersey. Dylan, please say a few words. Thank you.
First, I would like to thank President Trump for inviting me here today and for his outstanding leadership of our country, especially during this pandemic we are facing. For myself and my colleagues at DHL Express, who are picking up and delivering essential shipments every day, we are on the front lines, but we also know that our true heroes are the medical professionals who are battling to save thousands of precious lives each day. It is an honor to support them, especially in the Northeast, where I am based. Within the last month, I've personally transported hundreds of shipments of personal protective equipment and other medical supplies, including several large shipments of masks to a private home in East Brunswick, New Jersey, where the masks were all being donated by the thousands to our local first responders. I am proud to be able to safely support our customers, first responders, and healthcare heroes. It is truly an honor to be here. Mr. President, thank you.
It's been my honor. It's been my hero. Just stay right there. I come here a minute. We'll get this for you, right? Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dylan, very much. Good job, Dylan. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Truckers move over 70% of all freight in the United States, over 10 million tons every single year. Truckers keep our economy running, and now in this time of national need, they're saving lives. Here is a very fine gentleman, Stephen Richardson, a member of the American Trucking Association from the great state of Tennessee. We love Tennessee, who drives for Big G Express. Stephen, please come up and say a few words, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you, Mr. President, for having me here.
Thank you very much. Great honor.
I am Stephen Richardson, and I've been driving with a company called Big G Express out of Shelbyville, Tennessee for about 19 years, but my total driving experience is 30 years almost. They are an ESOP-owned company, meaning we employee-owned. We own the company. That makes me very proud to know that I'm part of this organization.
And rich, very rich.
Thank you, sir. But also, in my time of driving in the last couple of years, I've been hauling barrels for a company called Jack Daniels out of Lynchburg, Tennessee. They make some of the greatest Tennessee whiskey, if I could say. I've had a few swigs here and there. But in times when the economy's running good, Jack Daniels makes great whiskey. But now that we're in this time of a pandemic, Jack Daniels has switched over to making hand sanitizer. And by me hauling the barrels, it allows the company on the front end to do something for agriculture in our area. It also allows the company to run and make hand sanitizer, which I think is great. I just want to say I really appreciate the 3.5 million men and women truck drivers out here that are running up and down the roads every day, supplying the essentials that we need, the groceries on the shelves, the toilet paper, etc., to keep our essential workers out there and keep them striving. I really think this opportunity to be here, and it means the world to me, and I would like to personally say I thank all the truckers in the United States. And I hope that if you pass a truck out down the road, get a chance, say thank you.
That's true.
Thank you for your time today.
That's true. Here you go. This is for you. Beautiful. Good. Excellent job. Thank you. Thank you very much, Stephen. In recent weeks, the American people have shown these devoted American workers the love and support like never before. Good Samaritans have set up food services near highways so truckers can get meals while restaurants are closed. It's an incredible thing to watch. Fast food restaurants have opened drive-through lanes for semi-trucks and truckers and some others that help us out. People have stood in overpasses and on top of highways, waving flags and cheering while they drive by, and billboards are rising above the roads all over the place. I'm seeing them all over. It says, "Thank you, truckers." I see them all the time. Joining us is an owner-operator who drives for FedEx Ground named Tina Peterson. Tina is an incredible person, an incredible talent, they say, a great driver. She completes an amazing 10 round-trip hauls with her husband from St. Paul, Minnesota to Dallas, Texas every month. They're a tandem. They drive together. Tina, please come up and say a few words, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Since the coronavirus hit in the U.S., I have seen an increase in residential delivery of e-commerce at FedEx Ground. My husband, Dave, and I have had a family give us a meal out of the back of their pickup truck at a rest area that they put together for truck drivers. We've received thumbs up from motorists on the highways and have seen people standing on overpasses waving American flags to the passing trucks. The delivery drivers bringing packages to doors have been sharing photos of thank you letters, notes, cards, and sidewalk chalk messages telling us thank you for still working, thanking drivers for delivering what their families need right now. We recognize and appreciate the unique position we are in, helping to deliver aid and keep the economy moving during this challenging time. Everyone at FedEx would tell you this is who we are and what we do. Thank you.
Oh, that's great. Thank you very much. Come right over here.
Thank you.
Do you ever say hello to Fred Smith at all? Do you ever see him? Huh? You see him, actually?
I think I've seen him at MCE before.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Tina. Very good. My administration is devoting every ounce of our energy to every fiber in our bodies to give a tremendous, really create a border, create something very powerful against this virus, this horrible virus, to heal the sick, restore the full force of the U.S. economy, and do all of the things that we're doing. And by the way, for the media, we have a very important press conference today at 6 o'clock. We're going to be talking about guidelines that have been very carefully done. We're speaking at 3 o'clock to the governors, and we'll be informing them. And I think they'll be very happy with what we're doing. They want to win this war, and we're going to win it. We're going to win it very, very big, and hopefully very soon. No matter what we do, there have been so many lives lost, but the people here have helped us so much, and I am so honored to be with them. That's why in recent weeks we've done everything in our power that we have to keep our truckers safe, fueled, fed, and on the road. And we're also working, I think they'll be happy to know, because they know the roads better than anybody. We're working very strongly on an infrastructure package. And if we can get some Democrat support, we're going to have a tremendous, you're going to have nice roads again, nice, beautiful roads again. A $2 trillion, potentially a $2 trillion package. We eased regulations so that the truckers could be freed to drive more hours and to transport emergency relief supplies, including masks and gloves and gowns and groceries. We worked with states to lift burdensome restrictions and ensure that all states' rest areas remain open to support these hardworking men and women on the road. And we also declared that our talented workers at private truck stops are essential employees. They are indeed. I don't know if you know that. Did you know we call you all essential? Very few people called essential. I don't know if they call me essential. I'm not sure about that. But you're essential. That I can tell you. But all truck drivers can continue to have warm meals and hot showers, access to mechanics, and a place to park at night. We postponed the real ID deadline and made sure commercial licenses, learner's permits, and medical certificates will not expire while DMVs remain closed. That's a big deal. And because nearly 90% of operators in the trucking industry have fewer than 10 trucks, our Paycheck Protection Program, which is a tremendous success. In fact, it is now depleted. $350 billion is now depleted, and we're going for another $250 billion. They want it. They have to have it. This is for companies to give and to make sure that they won't be letting people go. Keep the companies together and keep the workers and keep the people that really run those companies, keep them well taken care of. But we're protecting the jobs and wages of countless truckers employed by small businesses. Truckers are playing a critical role in vanquishing the virus, and they will be just as important as we work to get our economic engines roaring, which is happening very quickly. You watch. But once we get going, the truckers are going to be working so hard, you're not going to be able to take a day of rest in between, maybe a couple of hours. But they work hard, they work long. Nobody works harder, actually. I know a lot about trucking, I know a lot about truckers, and I know plenty of truckers. They're great people with the same spirit of faith and grit and abiding patriotism that defines everything they do. We know our truckers will never let us down under any circumstance. They will never let us down. They're always there. They always have been. They always will be. They're very exceptional people. So I say God bless our great truckers. God bless every worker who is serving our nation in this time of need. God bless all who are sick, and God bless America. And thank you for being here. And Elaine Chao, I just want to say that we worked together long and hard, and you have done an incredible job as our Secretary of Transportation. And, you know, I have an extra key. I'm going to let the truckers decide. Should I give one to Elaine Chao or not? Huh? What do you think? Yes? I think so. I think we're going to do it. Where is Chris? I don't know where he is. Where is Chris Spear? Come here, Chris. That's big power. Come here, Chris. Come here, Elaine. Do that. Come.
Thank you so much.
Let's take a good picture. That's great, honey. You take that.
Thank you so much, and that's
Come here, Chris. Thank you, Mr. President. Hey, Chris. I almost shook your hand.
No.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate this.
Thank you very much. Congratulations, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much. Great job. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, folks, thank you so much for joining us and choosing us as your stream of choice. President Trump celebrating America's truckers from the White House. If you liked our coverage, make sure you subscribe and you click the notification bell. And don't forget, there is a press briefing later on today. President Trump said 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Once again, we are having a press briefing today at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. If you want to get notified by us here at Golden State Times, all you have to do is send me a text message with the word Trump Live to the number 555-888, and we will send you a notification that we are now live. Most of the time, if you are subscribed to the channel, you do not get a notification from YouTube. So we're trying to fix that by sending you guys a notification through text message. And if you want to get those messages, if you want to get those alerts from us directly here at Golden State Times, it's very simple. Text the word Trump Live together, Trump L-I-V-E all together, to the number 555-888. 55 58 88, and then I'll send you a notification when we go live for President Trump's press briefing. He is going to outline his idea, his next steps to open up or reopen America. So it's going to be a very, very good press briefing. We hope that you guys join us later on today. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and click the notification bell. Thank you so much for your help and your support, sharing the live stream, supporting us through Super Chat, helping us out through membership. Thank you so much for your support. Also, to the moderators, thanks so much for your help and your dedication. You guys keep the chat clean and enjoyable for everyone. So once again, there is a press briefing later on today. Make sure that you sign up to the notification list all you have to do is text the word Trump Live to the number 555-888 to get notified for today's press briefing coming later on today. It's 100% free, folks. From our end, from us here at Golden State Times, is 100% free. Okay, it's an extremely expensive system, but at the same time, we need it because we have to get the notifications out there. YouTube does not. YouTube does not want to send out notifications. They don't want to do any of that stuff. And only to our channel, but that's something for another time. But we're trying to fix that situation by having alerts through email. You can do that too. If you want to get alerted through email instead of text message, all you have to do is go to our website, goldenstatetimes.com. Again, that's goldenstatetimes.com. And you can sign up to our email list. But if you want to get signed up to our text messaging list, then all you have to do is text the word Trump Live to the number 555-888. 555-888 Trump Live. Just send it there and you'll get added to the list, and I'll send you a text message every time that we go live. All right, so if you missed any part of President Trump's speech to truckers, to America's truckers, it's being uploaded onto the channel right now. Just check back in a few minutes and we'll go on from there. We hope to see you guys at the President Trump press briefing coming later on today, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. We'll see you guys then. Don't forget, text Trump Live to the number 555-888. And also, don't forget to follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter at Gold State Times for more full coverage of breaking news, and everything else in between. Don't forget, follow us on Twitter at Gold State Times. I'll see you in a little bit, folks. All right, folks, so just before I leave, I'm going to put the link to the White House press briefing coming later on today. I'm going to put the link to it in the chat so you guys can go and check it out, give it a thumbs up, and share it on social media. So I'm going to be putting the link to it in the chat. But also, if you want to get notified, don't forget, like I said, just send the word Trump Live to the number 555-888 55-58-88, and then you'll get notified for today's press briefing. But I'm putting the link to the press briefing in the chat so you guys can go and check it out. Give it a thumbs up and share it on social media. Set the notification, set the reminder, and hopefully YouTube sends you a reminder. But if not, we will send you one through text message. If you sign up to our notification list through text message, just text the word Trump Live to the number 555-888. All right, folks. So the president's speech to America's truckers has been uploaded onto the channel. So if you guys missed it, go and check it out. And even if you didn't miss it and you got notified, just click on the notification, go over there, give it a thumbs up, and share it on social media. Once again, thank you so much for choosing Golden State Times as your stream of choice. If you guys got notified, let me know in the chat. But also, don't forget to go over there, give it a thumbs up, and share it on social media. President Trump, once again, is having a press briefing later on today, 6 p.m., that is Eastern Time, 3 p.m., that is Pacific Time. So make sure you guys join us. Once again, we just uploaded the president's speech to America's truckers. Thank you so much once again for choosing Golden State Times as your stream of choice. All right, hold on, let me check. Did anybody get notified? Let me know in the chat, folks. Did anybody get notified for the speech with President Trump? It looks like nobody got notified. I'm not sure. But I'm putting the link to it in the chat so you guys can go and check it out. So if you guys can help us out by sharing sharing that video, giving it a thumbs up, that would be amazing. All right, folks, I hope to see you guys here at the next live stream. President Trump's press briefing comes later on today. Hope to see you guys there, and I'll see you soon. Peace.